Hi, this is Shadow Child, you're watching Future Music, and today I'm going to go through a collab track that I did with Sinden, which is called Get At, which is on my collected album, and there should be some new mixes of it and stuff around as well at some point, so look out for those. But this is the original. I'm well known for using Reason for my stuff, which Reason was used in this, but this project is completely in Logic X. Basically, it was so Sinden lives in LA now. I'm here in England, obviously, so working together, sending it backwards and forwards, we had to kind of make it in a way that we could do that easily, and he's not a Reason user. So yeah, we started messing around with beats in Reason in my sort of normal kind of way, making drum patterns and playing around with the bass and stuff like that. And then we just exported it, dumped the audio into here, added some more bits and pieces as well, which you'll hear now. We actually, interestingly, didn't think that the track was finished. Like, he came here for like a day, I think it was, and we didn't think it was mixed. We didn't think it was just finished. We thought we still had work to do on it. But because of his travel schedule and mine, again, getting in the studio together is difficult, and we ended up living how it was. And I just tested it out one night, and he interestingly did the same, played it at a gig, and it just sounded so good. And I'll take you through it now. So we basically kind of have lived with it how it is. That's how it's ended up like it is. So the drums and stuff, again, in Reason. Have you seen any other of these in this little studio with me kind of things? You'll see how I put together my drum patterns in the redrum in Reason. So I would have done that because I love using the step sequencing for my drums. That's how I learned when I was a kid. And so that was all done in Reason. Separated the kick, the hats, and the clap sound. Very simple drums. You'll hear the vocal coming up. I'll talk about that in a second. So all my drums always mix through drum bus, which is over here, so they appear on one channel, and everything kind of mixes together kind of nicely there. Let's still play on a bit more. So these hi-hats, I don't know, we kind of wanted to use something that wasn't quite obvious, if you know what I mean. So these hi-hats, I don't know, they're actually from the M1, like a Korg M1, but not from the plug-in. I bought an M1 for like 100 quid, so it's, you know, it's nice, fills out the studio a bit as well. But the drums on that were sort of, I wouldn't say notoriously crap, but a bit crap. But I've used them loads in my productions recently. The reverse skydiving remix, the clap that's in that is from an M1. So dry and like very, I don't know if the M1 was like 12-bit or something or whatever it was, but anyway, it's just got that vibe to it, and those hi-hats come from there. There's more hi-hats which I'll come back to in a minute, which come in. So what you can hear, pretty early on we found a vocal sample that we liked, which came from a session that I was doing a while ago, and I just kind of repeated that kind of stabby and kind of made it, if you listen to it again there, it's just part of the percussion to me. It's become an instrument rather than a vocal. The kind of weird pad sound, we actually made it audio because Sinden doesn't have Omnisphere. I think that's why we did it anyway. But that has come from Omnisphere. Love Omnisphere for all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we made that audio. I'll just run it into the and then the classic sort of drop, I guess, that I've been doing on a lot of my stuff, but it's effective and it works, so that's why we ran with that. So the bass line was made in Reason, I believe, and yeah, it was made in Reason. It was a sample that comes from a JD 990, which is this box here, and I think you can see another video of me talking about that as well. But it comes from there. I've just processed it a lot and all that kind of stuff, and very sampley kind of vibe to it. I'm just going to play a bit more of the track. These other hi-hats come in, and we really weren't sure of them, and particularly how loud they were. So they just sound in here. They sounded very loud and kind of a bit obnoxious. But on a big system, I think because there's so much happening on the low end, it kind of really kind of complements at both ends of the sort of range of big sound systems. You know, works really well. There's some other little stabs as well. These again were done in Reason. Just nice little things that, and there's also an organ which I've taken all the low end out of. Let me just have a look on the EQ because I'm pretty sure we've done that here. There you go. You can see what I've done there. I think I'd already rolled off some as well actually. And there's a fab filter on there again for some filtering and stuff a bit later on. Let's just drop that back in. So yeah, we thought that was all a bit too harsh, but it just works really well. I have to say one other thing, in this studio we've got, there's actually 3 subs under there. One goes with the Adams, which is what I prefer. The other 2 subs go with these Silvers, which are quite rare speakers. Brian Eno's a fan of those as well. I'm not really that used to them. I love the Adams and what they do. But my point in this is that I'd actually stop using the sub when I'm writing, because it's so easy to get lost in, like, you know, how bassy the track is, and all your kind of focus goes onto that. Also, when I was testing any tracks, either in my car or at home or wherever, there was a real inconsistency there. So I actually work quite quietly now with the sub off, and if it sounds great on here and on the NS10s as well, which are notoriously difficult, if you've got it right, you've got it right. You know, that's how I'm kind of working now. So, and I'm sort of getting results through that. So if you've got subs, switch them off while you're writing. You know, use them to have a party and jump around, or when you have a tea break, you know, stick it on and listen to it then. But switch it off while you're writing. It's like definitely helped me a lot recently. This high string sound, needed something to really tie the kind of the tracky bit in with the breakdown to make it not so sudden. So that string is just standard ESX hip hop strings. But what I have done on there is used the ring shifter, which sounds terribly wrong, but it's not. The ring shifter is a ring modulator that you can do all sorts of nice stuff with. And I've stuck that on there. You can hear what it's doing there. Just makes it less linear, like the strings without that on. It's just kind of not doing anything. So it's very subtle, but you can hear what it's doing there, and it just makes a big difference to the track. So there you go. Oh, we've got the little pitch down vocal. So that's a pretty weird thing that you can do there easily with just Logic plugins. Where is it? It's there. So vocal transformer, and I've changed the format and the pitch as well on there. I can't remember exactly in what order. Let's have a look. So you can hear what it's doing there. I'm just going to stop it for a sec, because it's going to get annoying. But yeah, so basically just automated those pitch changes and stuff in there, because to make it different from that, basically. What else are we? Yeah, the drop. So I kind of sort of said before in one of these sort of videos that the drops are obviously quite important in records. That impact, you know, that contrast between what you just heard and, you know, the club kind of jumping. You know, hopefully everyone loving the drop. It's hard to get that with this kind of music sometimes, because this stuff is about like less is more and taking stuff out rather than leaving everything in, because it's when tracks get cluttered, things can get overproduced and they can get a little bit messy and stuff. And so it's kind of hard sometimes to get that big reaction that you want in a club with everyone hopefully sort of bouncing. And the way I've done it with this is just with repeating some effects, really simple. So basically just standard, this is from Vengeance sample bank by the looks of it. So, you know, those of you scared of Vengeance samples, don't be, just make them your own, because samples are samples, you know. A lot of people have been a bit chin strokey about not using Vengeance, I've heard, but it works. So simple, kind of one of those. And also something I've done, I did this in the reverse skydiving remix as well, and it's just really effective. It's actually a reverse cymbal, and I've just looped it on the beat. So it's doing that with a side chain on it as well, off of the kick from memory. Actually, not so much in the end. I obviously took that off because it's kind of got its own sort of side chainy vibe to it anyway. So if I take those off, it just ain't the same. So it's quite simple really, just fill out things that aren't there. And it's really not much, that just makes such a big difference to the vibe of this section.
Is there some pitch automation on those reverse cymbals before it goes in there, or is it a filter?
I think it's just volume. There might be a little bit, yeah, there's I've used a fab filter on it, so just a filter really, just kind of.
Sounds like it's sucking it out, it's good.
Yeah. So it's just kind of this, kind of subtly sweeping it away, a bit of resonance on there. And back into those really noisy hi-hats that we weren't sure of. Half the time with tracks, things you're not sure of, it's because you've heard them like all day, like 5, 6, 7 hours often, you know, and then by the end of it you're like, I'm really not sure of that, and that's because it's like embedded in your brain. Often walk away, you know, don't be harsh with your decisions. Normally with writing and with production, the first few things you do are normally some of the best. Like the more, obviously now the only limit to making music is the power of your computer. So you can go to town as much as you like and do what the hell you want, which is brilliant. But it really limits the creativity, and it limits the, it just limits a lot of stuff, because your mind is on, oh, I can do this, or I can do that, or we can change that, or we've got, you know, another bank of 2,000 sounds we can use. And it's just often your instinct when you're writing, and the sounds that you choose and things like that, they're often right quite early on, and that's worth bearing in mind, especially with this, although I'm only talking about hi-hats here and more of a level and EQ thing rather than anything else. But we really walked away from here not sure, and then, you know, a week later we were like, wow, it sounds amazing. It sounds raw, but in a really good way, and that's a hard thing to achieve when you've got so many toys that make things really shiny sounding. So it's just a good thing to be aware of when you're creating. So that's how I did mine and Sinden's Get At.